Episode 33 with Derrick Furlow on the 9 Point Start with a Dream podcast.
Welcome to 9 Point Started with a Dream podcast. Our goal is to showcase the stories of athletes and the community that supports them by being authentic about their journey. Here's your host, Jacolby Gilliam.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. This episode we have Derrick Furlow. His story is, it's one that's kind of powerful. It's one that's about realizing the lesson in your story, realizing kind of how the purpose is bigger than you if you can just kind of take time to just look outside yourself. And it's a great story here, just like about what's next and just keep it moving and kind of keep the goals and keeping aspiring. So great story here. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love his message and hope you enjoy it. So let's get to it. So the question stuff that everyone comes on is, when you're younger as an athlete, what's one of your bigger dreams and goals you want to achieve?
When I was younger as an athlete, the end goal was always the NFL. However, like I seen like Ricky Williams and guys that rock the 31. So I like the idea of wearing the 31 in the NFL. And then that was Roy Williams. And I seen Ricky Williams with the dreads. So I'm like, one day I want to be able to have my hair hanging out my helmet and people know me by me playing on the field, my hair hanging out my helmet. And that was like the smaller goal in college, to get to college. And then the bigger scale was to get to the NFL. So I had them on different levels. However, the end big goal was to get in the NFL. However, now when I think about it, it wasn't necessarily just the NFL. It was the opportunity to put my family in position to win at life financially. However, the sports was just a vehicle, or NFL was just a vehicle. So that was the one of the biggest goals, I would definitely say.
Awesome. So at what age did that kind of dream kind of start, that I want to be an NFL athlete? I want to get my family to a place where they don't have to worry about anything ever again. Way did that start?
Well, that the getting my family to a place where they never have to worry again, that was more of that started early from just growing up, being raised by a single mom with 3 kids in Southwest Atlanta, and seeing the struggle of her working, coming home late, us not really ever having a Christmas, us having to spend the night at friends' houses sometimes because the lights was out, or having to go get boiled water from the neighbor house to pour it in the tub to have hot water, just in case she couldn't get the bill paid. So those little small struggles, when I was younger, I always fueled the fire of wanting a better life and making it where we never have to live like that. However, the trajectory of football being the vehicle that can solve that problem, man, honestly, to me, it probably came in a little late. I didn't necessarily take it serious until like 9th grade, maybe 10th, when I was in high school. And then guys noticed that I could technically be really good. And that's kind of where it shifted. Okay, I ain't selling drugs. This rapping deal ain't for everybody. Maybe this sports deal will be my vehicle. And out of all these sports, I'm pretty good at football, so maybe this can be the vehicle. So that's kind of how that kind of the first half and the second half came together, where football can be the vehicle that can help change my family's financial future.
I love that, kind of going back to like what you said about, I wasn't going to do the drugs thing, I wasn't going to do the rapping thing, so I thought sports. I think that's so key to hear, like, that's the realness of a lot of stories, right?
Yep.
Like it's like it kind of comes down to those three, and it's like, all right, what do I take? So when you decide to say football is going to be my vehicle, it's going to get me to college, going to get me to that next level, how did you approach that journey to make it happen?
Man, the journey kind of unfolded itself, really. I was we was in Griffin, Georgia at the time. I had moved out of the city of Atlanta. We was down in Griffin, and I finally started playing like all high school sports, basketball, football, and track. And then after the end of the season or the school year, my stepdad job transferred him to Arkansas. So that entailed us having to move, which we had did a lot of moving around when I was younger, and I didn't even really want to move again. However, once the house sold, we ain't had no choice but to move. So once I got to Arkansas, I was in Crossett, Arkansas, and going from Georgia, growing up in the inner city of Atlanta, to moving around in Georgia, in Atlanta, to get into a place called Crossett, Arkansas, man, it's a completely different landscape. So it was like a culture shock when I got there, and I had to get out of there. So I was unhappy, I was mad, I was angry, I was upset. I wasn't in control of my life or my freedom. I felt like I had just found my own me in that situation I was in high school earlier, and then we moved. So at this point, when I got to Arkansas, man, it was kind of like, you got to get out of here. So that survival of either you're going to make this football thing work or you're going to die living in Crossett, Arkansas is going to happen. So it was like, all right, how am I going to get out of here? Sports, you're going to be the vehicle. And actually, I planned on playing basketball and running track and playing football in high school. Well, when we first got there, it was during basketball season. So I'm on the basketball team. We go home. We go to Atlanta for Christmas break, and on the front end of it. And sure enough, man, we come back and we had missed some basketball practices and a couple games or whatever it looks like. And coach was like, "Hey, man, you got to run 500 bleachers to get back on the team." And I'm like, "Well, man, I don't like basketball that much." So that kind of went basketball out the window. And at that point, I'm like, "Well, crap, I ain't got nothing left for track and football." I really didn't like running track because it felt like punishment, but I could hold my own at it. So that's kind of when football became the official vehicle that was going to help me get out of Arkansas and help my dream by a process of elimination.
So that's kind of funny, man. Like, so it came down to bleachers. You were like, I ain't about it.
Yeah, it came down to some bleachers, bro. I'm like, man, I ain't running all these bleachers. Like, it ain't even that serious. we from Atlanta. We go home for the holidays, and we miss basketball practice. Like, you expected me to stay here? Nah, not a chance. So yeah, that's kind of what happened, man.
Love it. So when it came down to kind of choosing a school, that would kind of give you the opportunity kind of to achieve the goal that you had in mind. How'd you go about that journey?
Man, that was a whole journey within itself, because I get to Arkansas my sophomore year. I played. Me and my brother, we played not as much as we wanted to as far as being the man on the team. We had some pretty solid guys ahead of us that was older than us. So it was technically their team, being the new guys. But my junior year, we had a chance to really put an indent and make an impression on the squad. And, man, we got up and running. And I had this goal of being the number one running back in the state, taking the city and the school to a state championship, putting them on the map, making them known as a powerhouse in football, and helping the team go undefeated. So these are some personal goals I had, because I know it hadn't been done. And I had already seen the blueprint, because Darren McFadden was from Arkansas, and he had already done it and was committed to Arkansas. So I seen the blueprint. So at that point, man, I just went to work. I know I needed to rush about 2,200 yards, at least 20 touchdowns, and that alone carry us to a state championship and allow us to kind of do some work. And that'll be my get out of Arkansas plan. I know I'd get some recognition. I knew that'd give me some scholarship opportunities. So we went to work on that, man. And my junior year, we started off the season out the gates, man, got to about 3-0 real quick, non-conference play. Then we got into conference play. We started climbing up the ranks, man. 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, 8-0, 9-0, 10-0. We finished the season. So I'm looking like, man, this get out of Arkansas plan is coming together. We got a couple games to go. We're going to win the state championship. These recruiting letters going to keep coming in. I'm going to go ahead and get me a full ride scholarship back to the University of Georgia, because I really just wanted to get back to Georgia, growing up in Georgia. And sure enough, we make it through the first round of the playoffs, make it through the second round of the playoffs. We get to the third round, one game away from the state championship game, bro, and we lose. So at this point, I don't have a little taste of what it's like to win and what it's like to have a nice run like that. And I knew that get out of Arkansas play was going to happen. I knew I was going to get me a full ride to Georgia, because at this point in time, the season ends And I'm starting to get these letters, and we're starting to get some attention. The city on the map, the school on the map. And I started to take some visits. So at that point, I knew it was all. I knew it was going to all work out. I knew everything was working out in my favor. However, what I didn't account for was, as I did all these visits to all these camps, places like LSU, Ole Miss, Georgia, multiple times. I visited Arkansas my last little visit. No, I wasn't planning on going there, but we was up there, and they had some of the top guys in the state there, and we're doing these ball drills. And I jumped for a ball, came down kind of funny, didn't think too much of it, man. And on that ride home from Fayetteville, Arkansas to Cross Arkansas, my knee swelled up, and it kind of scared me a little bit, but nothing too much, because I finally made it to the doctor a couple of days later, and they said it was just a meniscus tear. You just get it scoped, and you'll be on your way. So we put it off for a little while. Finally got it done. Finally went to go get it done before the season started. And when we got the scope done, I actually woke up as they was rolling me out of the operating room. And as they was rolling me out, man, I had a chance to kind of come to consciously a little bit, and I touched my leg. And when I touched my leg, I had felt this brace. And when I asked the doc, what's this brace on my leg? He said, oh, that brace right there, we repaired your ACL. And you knowing anything about ACL, that's going to put you out for a whole year. So at that moment, everything kind of shattered for me, because I went from having everything going my way, being a man on this football landscape, to having a surgery, getting something done that wasn't necessarily I wasn't going in for, to completely remove me off that football landscape going into my senior year of high school, where we were pretty much going to run the table and do exactly what I had planned on us doing. So that kind of shifted the gates of this whole recruiting process, man. A lot of the smaller schools that offered me, I really didn't plan on going, because I already knew my mind was made up. I wanted to go play in the SEC. I wanted to go to Georgia, and I had visited Georgia multiple times. The only thing I didn't have was an actual commitment letter and official things of that nature. So at this point in time, the season starts, teams start off 3-0, and then they get wind that I'm not coming back and I'm out for the season. And the team kind of folds a little bit, and the word gets out. And now Coach Rucker, that was recruiting me to go to Georgia, he leaves, he goes to Texas. He was running back coach at that time, and he was the tightest one I was with. So at this point, all that recruiting work that I had been doing with him and relationships, that kind of shattered. All those other small places that I had put on the back burner because I knew I wasn't coming, those conversations never really started back up again. And now I'm sitting here looking like a duck out of water, because I had burnt some bridges and let some places know, look, I wasn't coming there because I knew where I belong. I knew I wanted to play. And all of a sudden, this injury done kind of changed the whole trajectory of what I thought I was going to be doing and where I thought I was going to be going. So at that point, things got real, man. Things got real quick.
Man, I can make that a lot. Just that you had this whole plan of what the journey could look like for you. You're going to play the season now. You're going to ball out, get to the offer, live out your dream, and it hit you, right? So when it came to hitting that sense of adversity, how did you have in your mind that I'm going to bounce back, that I'm still going to get out of Arkansas card? How do you have that mindset still?
Man, at that point, it was really kind of like, Lord, what do you got in plan? Because I know you got me here for a reason. And I always said, when people ask me why do we move to Arkansas, I always jokingly said, I'm here to make y'all lives better. Like, that was my arrogant joke, right? And it was kind of interesting, because at that point in time, I didn't realize the significance of that statement. However, once that injury happened, it was kind of like, okay, Lord, what you got me here for? What's the plan? Because at this point in time, I wasn't sure what was going on. But then he said something to me one day. I was doing rehab. I started doing rehab 3 times a day because I didn't know what else to do. I just figured I've been working my butt off this long, this hard. I might as well just keep on working. Like, I had this Cinderella story in my head that the team was going to finish, get to the playoffs. I was going to have this miraculous comeback within 2 months and play the end of the year and take us to the state championship and win this thing and still get my full ride, right? Like, it was Cinderella all in my head. So I rehabbed like that was really going to happen, which didn't help anything. So I ended up making staples come out and set myself back. But in this process, man, I was doing rehab one day, and I was mad, angry, in tears. And I was like, why me, Lord? Why me? And then he said something to me. He said, man, I gave you that football stage for something bigger than you, and you was using that football stage for your own purpose, selfish ambitions, reasons, and goals. And since I gave you that stage, I had to take it away from you to get your attention. And that's, boy, yeah. And that's when it all kind of set in, man. And I was kind of like, well, you got my attention, and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing now, but whatever's supposed to happen, I'm gonna let you have control of my life and let it happen. So at that moment, that whole I'm here to make y'all lives better, I think became more real, because I was there for something bigger than the game. That game was as a temporary stage for my permanent purpose, and I wasn't truly fulfilling my permanent purpose. So that's when things got interesting, man. All I did was train and rehab, but it just made me so much aware of I was supposed to be doing something bigger than just playing this football game, man. And you'll be amazed once you become awoke to your true purpose and what you're really supposed to be doing and how you're really supposed to be living, how the Lord kind of line things up and let things work. So that's kind of what started to happen, man. I thought I was living right per se, but I eventually had to realize my relationship was exactly with the Lord wasn't exactly what it needed to be. So I had to work on that. So I sort of just get more locked in, get more dialed in, and then I found myself in a somewhat of a better place. I knew it was going to work out. I just wasn't sure how. And sure enough, man, we go into track season, and I really need a light track. And I'm just running just to see can I get my knee better, feeling better. And, man, we finished through track and going around into spring before I get ready to graduate. And I get this letter in the mail from the University of Tennessee, and it was inviting me to their spring fling, a place I'd never been, a place I never even thought about. I watched them play one time, which was in 2004. They was playing against Georgia, and I was rooting for Georgia. And when I got the letter, man, I'm like, man, we got to go check this place out. So we come up here, knew nothing about Tennessee, man, but when I got here, something felt different. It felt like, I don't know, I couldn't even tell you the feeling, but something felt different. And I had a chance to go see the players play the spring game, meet a lot of the guys afterwards, man. And I remember having this conversation with one of the guys named David Holbert, and he was like, hey, man, you come here, they're going to take care of you. We're going to take care of you. And that conversation was really the last conversation I had before I had to go a chance to go meet with Coach Foreman, Coach Caldwell, and Coach Slade. And I had a chance to walk in there and meet with them. And as I walked into the office, it was kind of cool. Coach Caldwell was the guy recruiting the state of Arkansas. And he was like, hey, man, we heard that you're a pretty good player. And we heard your knees messed up. So, unfortunately, we can't offer you a full ride scholarship because we're not sure how your knee's going to heal. But if it does heal and you're capable of playing like you're capable of playing, and you return, we got a full ride scholarship waiting on you. So at that moment, I was like, sign me up. And it was the craziest thing behind it. He told me, yeah, we actually saw you on film playing against two guys that was already committed to come here. So it was one of those things, man. Lord had a bigger plan in place, and he had to humble me and set me on the right path before he truly put me in position to do those things or live my dream or pursue those purposes or those goals that I originally had for myself. So he had to take the stage away and give me that path less traveled so I can earn it. Because if it would have been easy and it would have came how I expected it to come to me, I probably would have blew it. So that's kind of how the journey took place for me.
Man, I got chills right now. Like just because I lived a similar story in the sense of that, and then just that getting humbled, like you said, it opened your eyes to the bigger picture than what you were living, right?
Yeah.
That's wow. Okay, so so Tennessee gives you the opportunity that you want to get out of Arkansas.
Yes.
Your knee's still recovering. You're trying to get back to this game. So, just like you said, like what's next?
Yep. So literally, now I get to Tennessee, and I come in with the number one recruiting class in the country, and now it's like, okay, you've been recovering for 9 months right now, and we come in early because we came in the summertime. So it's like, get to work. And as far as I was concerned, it was like, hey, you belong here. So I just went to work. So we go through the first summer. I felt like I got bigger, I got stronger, I got faster. So we go into fall camp, and I come out of fall camp, and as soon as I come out of fall camp, I don't understand how this college business works. So I go back to coach and I'm like, hey, coach, I made it through fall camp. I came in. I held my own with the best of them. I got bigger. I got stronger. I got faster. Trying to get my full scholarship. And they looked at me and was like, no. So at this point, I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't really do much. I got to get back to the drawing board and actually like really step it up, right? So the season goes. Next season come around, we get ready to go into fall camp. I know my alignment, I know my assignment, I know my checks, I know my audibles. Got bigger, got stronger, got faster. So we come out of camp. I go back to coach and say, hey, coach, I know my alignment, I know my assignment, I know my reason, I know my adjustments, I know my checks. I got bigger, I got stronger, I got faster. Can I get my full scholarship? They look at me and they say, nope. So now I'm looking around like, all right, well, you put me here for a reason. What's the deal? Like, I'm doing exactly what you told me that I'm supposed to be doing. Or at least I think I am anyway. Why this scholarship thing ain't working out for me? And sure enough, man, the season starts. We get the season rocking and rolling, and then we get so far down the line, man, and we're playing this team called Air Force. And my buddy Inky Johnson gets hurt. End up almost he paralyzes his right shoulder and almost loses his life. And at this point, we had a chance to go visit him in the hospital 3 days after the surgery. And we walked into the room. I was like the fourth guy in line, and Coach Slade was up in the front. And as we was filing in, I remember Coach Slade saying, hey, Ink, how you feeling? And Ink said, man, I'm at peace. And when he said that, it hit me completely different, because I'm sitting up here thinking, mad, angry, upset about my scholarship, about not getting the things I thought I deserved, not playing as much as I wanted to, not having this full ride scholarship, having to have some loans. And my man then almost lost his life. His arm is paralyzed. He might not play this game ever again. And he said he's at peace. Man, when that thing hit me, bro, it really woke me up. I said, I'm not sure what peace Ink got, but I need that peace in my life. And that's when it all kind of started all over again, man. It was like, all right, I got to figure something out. And that's when I came to the conclusion, man. All the things the Lord took this football stage away from me from doing, from being selfish, focusing on me, my personal ambitions, reasons, and goals, man, I was doing it again. I was focusing on my own personal reasons and goals in college again. Trying to get my scholarship, trying to get myself in position so my family never have to worry again, trying to play more. I was focused on me, and I wasn't being the teammate or the man of God I was supposed to be helping those younger teammates that was coming behind me, helping them have faith, helping them know that it's okay to be an athlete and love the Lord, helping them realize that, hey, you're going to go through some stuff, but it's okay, you can overcome it. Like, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, so guess what? He ain't opened up the next door for me. So he had to bring it to my reality again. And at this point in time, man, I'm like, all right, I'm listening, because apparently what I'm doing ain't working. So that's when I got locked in with FCA, man, and had a chance to truly give my heart to the Lord and just start moving obediently and working how I'm supposed to be working and focus on the things I'm supposed to be focused on. It's more important, just not my own personal selfish ambitions, goals, and reasons for what I want out of the game, and doing those things that the game had gave me that stage to do, and really making an impact on my teammates and those guys that's coming behind me that needed mentorship, that needed guidance. And sure enough, man, when I started doing those things, it's funny how things work out, because summer come back around, we go into fall camp. I done got big, I got strong, I got fast. I knew my alignment, I knew my techniques, I knew my adjustment, I knew my plays. I'm out there on the fields buzzing around. We coming off the field, man. I'm getting interviews left and right. Reporters going to coach, asking why this guy not playing, why this guy not on scholarship. Man, by the time fall camp over with, I don't even have to go to coach and ask him, can I get my scholarship? They coming to me and say, hey, man, we want to give you a full ride scholarship to the University of Tennessee. So it's amazing how things work out, man, when we do what we're supposed to do.
Man, that's something right there, isn't it?
Bro, something ain't the word, man.
Because like I've heard the Inky Johnson story, so I know like that whole situation and kind of how it connects with you, how you said it puts you at peace, right? I said he's at peace, right? So you were like, all right, how can I get that same peace?
Yes, sir. Wow. Yes, sir. Had to have it. I was mad over small things to a giant when you think about it, man. I'm talking about a scholarship. We talking about life. You know what I mean? He talking about life and death. I'm talking about scholarship. Like, come on, man. It don't even compare. It was completely different, man. Completely different situation.
So for anyone right now that's listening, that's an athlete right now, whether they're in pro, whether they're in college, whether they're in high school, junior high, whatever it may be, what would be your advice to maybe just on, finding that peace, finding that purpose, just to kind of to have that goal, but understand there's another goal that's going to help you achieve that main purpose of yours?
Man, the biggest thing I realized, man, this thing is bigger than you. Like, when you really sit down and think about everything in your life, it's bigger than you. Sports is a prime example of this thing bigger than you. You're an individual on a team that's bigger than you. That team is a part of a university that's bigger than you. The university is a part of an organization that's bigger than it. So at the end of the day, this thing is bigger than you. Your last name is going to outlive your first name. So when you think about something being bigger than you, all right, Derrick, but this Furlow on the back of this jersey, my wife going to have this name, my kids going to have this name, my family already got this name. So this thing, my life is really, this thing is really bigger than me. So when it comes down to it, when we start being selfish and stop thinking about us all the time and start operating to fulfill that bigger purpose, that bigger mission, because we're all here for a purpose and a reason. And we have to become cognizant and realize that we're here for something bigger than us. Sports is just a temporary stage for our permanent purpose. It's going to give us a stage to really make an impact and do those things we're really supposed to be doing. However, along the way, we got to realize what are those things we're really supposed to be doing. I just so happen to have a couple crash courses because I wasn't listening a couple different times where it finally made sense to me. And you get clues along the whole way. So I'll tell them, for one, you got to be more aware and realize this thing is bigger than you. It's not about you at all. Everything you do and you don't do is still bigger than you. Like, it's going to indirectly or directly affect somebody else the way it's supposed to affect them or the way it don't supposed to affect them based off how you respond to it and what you do or what you don't do. So it just lets you know that this thing is bigger than you. And once I realized that, the Lord started to really work. And in the process of him working, he let me truly find my purpose, which was to impact, inspire, and empower people and those younger guys that was coming behind me to be that role model, because they was coming from rough situations and what I came from. And I was so focused on myself, I wasn't doing what I was there to do. So they got to be more selfless and realize that it's something bigger than just that game, whatever that sport is they're playing. And that sport is really not their purpose. That's what they see as their purpose, but it's really a temporary stage for their permanent purpose. And they got to start being aware of what their true purpose is. So then they can slowly start living intentionally and executing and doing the things they're supposed to be doing. And when you start doing that, focus on something that's bigger than you, everything else comes together, man. So the team concept teaches us that. However, we're so self-absorbed and in the mix, in the matrix, we don't miss it. So one thing I will always tell them is don't miss the message, because I almost missed the message twice. And it's pretty simple. In the middle of your mess, don't miss your message. And when you think about it, your mess is just a messenger for your message. You just got to be aware and be conscious of it. So that's what I would tell them, man. You see it every single day, you hear it every single day, but a lot of times we don't actually catch it until we're on the backside of it, and we done completely missed that opportunity to fulfill that purpose in that stage, man. So it's definitely power and awareness and just realizing this thing's so bigger than you. And in the process of doing it, work on that personal relationship, because you're there for a reason. You're all here for a reason. We all go through different stuff for a reason, but we put right in that situation where we're supposed to be doing something we're supposed to be doing. It's just a matter of whether we execute it or not. Whether it's a good background, a terrible background, a rough upbringing, a stress-free upbringing, all those things happen for you to get on that team and be exactly where you at in that exact moment, so you can impact, inspire, and empower somebody around you that's from a different background, that got some different things going on in their life, so you can give them hope. So at the end of the day, we can all live a better life, man, for a big purpose.
Man, you out here preaching right now.
Man, hey, man, I'm just telling you what I'm just trying to tell them the truth. If somebody would have told me this, hopefully I would have been aware and open to listening. So if somebody hear it, hopefully they're open and they're aware to listening, because I know I didn't know it until it was happening to me, and I was in the middle of my mess and I almost missed my message. So I just want to pay it forward, bro.
Love that, man. So you got the offer, right? So what's next in this thing for Derrick? What's this next move that you got to achieve that part of the journey?
Man, the next part was being that example, man, and fulfilling the purpose. So I got the scholarship, and then I was like, okay, I was first one in the fam to go to college. Now I'm getting the scholarship and to play ball. So what can I do now? Lord, you done gave me the stage. What can I really do with it? And I ended up graduating in 3 years, was able to get my master's and in that time frame as well while I was still playing. So that was a feat to my nephews and my nieces and everybody that's going to come behind me because now they have no excuses. However, I wasn't done yet because now it's like, okay, I got a shot to change our family's financial future with this NFL deal. Well, things had already been rocky as it was with not playing as much as I wanted to. I played behind Eric Berry, which was a great guy to learn from. And it was awesome to see him get a chance to come back from his injuries and play in the AFC Championship game the other day. So I had a chance to learn a lot from him how to be a playmaker on the field and off the field. So now I graduate, get ready to train for the pro day. I hurt my shoulder. And at this point, they're like, well, you got to have shoulder surgery. 5 different doctors' opinions. I had already had a knee ACL surgery before, seeing the time of recovery, seeing what it was going to take. And I knew that, hey, that temporary stage for that permanent purpose, it was time. That was coming to an end. It was time for me to find what was next, the next stage, and what was the next part that I was supposed to be doing, because that vehicle of sports, it got me where it needed me to go, and now it was time to change vehicles. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, it got me to level 5. Now it's time for me to go to level 6, and you can't take that same car to level 6. So I had to switch vehicles. So at that point in time, I knew sales and entrepreneurship within my purpose was going to be the next vehicle. So this whole football deal, it was pretty much done. And I went and found a sales job. And in the process of me doing that sales job, an arena team reached out to me, kept asking me to play. I told them my shoulder was messed up. They didn't believe me. They paid for a physical. I actually passed the physical, so I felt obligated to play. Played 2 years arena ball, and that's when I really realized, man, this thing, this temporary stage for a permanent purpose deal, my purpose is definitely bigger than this, because getting paid this change to play this game and that wall being as hard as it is, it ain't worth it. However, it was fun. It was a great experience. I just seen that a lot of guys were so locked in and committed to this game, and that vehicle wasn't going to take them where they needed to go. They had families that was depending on them. They had people that lives were technically in their hand, and they was too busy locked in on this same old dream, same old purpose that wasn't big enough, because they weren't seeing a bigger picture outside of themselves. They was being selfish and not selfless and just thinking about their dreams, their goals, and not the bigger picture. So at that point, it kind of fulfilled that. I think I got my exit to say, you know what, the game was good to you, now it's time for you to leave it alone and do something bigger and truly fulfill that purpose, exit to the next vehicle. So that's what I did, got into sales. And when I got into sales, man, it got interesting because I had an online business and I was in sales, and both of them was full commission. And that's when a lot of the things from the game began to carry over into life and into business, because that first 2 years in sales, it was a struggle. It was a feast of famine. And that's when I started to have to apply myself and just started thinking, okay, how do I become the best at this? Kind of like I made myself the best at me playing sports. And that's when that what's next came in, and I started taking those transferable skills that sports had taught me, and I figured out how I could take them away, how I can correlate them, and how I can carry them over into sales to make me be the best in the game over there, man. And from that point moving forward, every day was just like going to practice. I call practice now life prep. We wasn't just practicing football. We was practicing life. It was preparing us for life. And a lot of those same things we did apply off the court, off the field, off the track, out the pool. However, if you're not thinking on a bigger scale of what's next, if you ain't thinking on a bigger scale of it's being bigger than you, you'll leave a lot of those things on the court, on the field, on the track once you're done. And you'll think you got to start over, or don't know anything, or don't think sports has taught you anything, and you're thinking that you at ground zero once you get into the next phase of life. And so my what's next was a transition that I brought a lot of stuff with me that I felt could add value to me in the marketplace when I got into sales.
Man, like, your journey is just dope. Like, just kind of see how it started with, the guy from Georgia who moved to Arkansas, and I was like, I don't want to be here no more. I want to go back to Georgia. Then you got hurt in Tennessee. Now you're got the offer. Now you're in sales. So when you look at this whole journey so far, right? How do you feel? Like, what do you feel is the next phase to achieving your purpose, to keep going? To what is the next move for you?
Man, next move, we in it right now, man. We in it right now, man. We we went through the sales process, and I learned the game. I learned people. I learned entrepreneurship. I put in the same work that I put in on the field, as far as prepping, as far as studying, as far as practicing, as far as role playing, as far as watching film. I did the same things in sales and as an entrepreneur. So I learned that, hey, everything I had been doing was prepping me for this stage right here. So I started doing, I was in the sales game for that company for about 7-8 years. And then finally I'm in that sales game, man. And finally the Lord was like, all right, your bigger purpose is here. You don't learn exactly what you need to know to go to the next phase of life. And the next phase is for you to be speaking and doing speaking, impacting, inspiring, empowering people and athletes transitioning, but also selling your tools that I've equipped you with this knowledge to help empower them where they at, so they don't have to go through the same thing that you went through. So at that point, I wrote the book, What's Next? How to Transition Like a Champion, walked away from that sales job and went on the road doing more speaking full time, which was making me go right back to full-time commission again, back to being just like I was when I got into sales, had to start at ground zero, no money, no nothing, except for the money I had stacked up, go back out here and earn it. So then I ended up writing the transition playbook, which just released last year, and Sports Life Business University, which is a whole bunch of programs that are designed to help athletes transition and take all those intangibles that they learn in sports and actually use them in life and in business. So we pretty much started back over, but every play, every step was like, all right, you learn something right here. You go to step 2, you're going to use all those things you learned in step 1. All right, you learn something right here on step 2, you're going to use everything you learned in step 1 and step 2 on step 3. So it was like climbing a ladder. So with my logo, when I came up with What's Next? How to Transition Like a Champ in Sports Life Business University, my company is called Sports Life Business LLC, and it's puzzle pieces. It's the puzzle piece because I believe sports helped me put it all together. Like Sports Life Business University is where all these things come together. The sports side, the life side, and the business side, they come together like a puzzle piece if you're aware and if you're paying attention. And for me, everything that happened in my life, it all prepared me for the next phase of what was happening for what was going to happen in my life. I just became aware of it. So once it started to happen, I was able to have something to take away from it. I could correlate something really easy and I can carry it over. So right now we are in that what's next for me. And right now, man, we on a massive movement to change the way athletes transition into life after sports with them having a book they can read, a curriculum they can take, an online university transition training platform. They can go and look at the videos of me sharing how to take those transferable skills and use them, and me continue to drop and add content. So now they can have a place they can go, a book they can read, a course they can take. Because I know when I was growing up, I heard a lot of people say, hey, man, I learned this from sports. Well, when they said they learned this from sports, none of them can ever point me to a book, a class, or a course. They can show me how I can learn that from sports. They just say they learned it from sports. And if I can't think how they think, I can't learn from sports how they learn from sports. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to remove that from the problem and give athletes a surefire way, a class, a course, something solid they can go to and say, hey, I learned this from sports. And this is how I learned it because I read this. This is how I learned it because I took this online. And now every other athlete that don't think like they think can pick up the same thing, and it can be passed on through the history of athletes transitioning into life after sports. So, man, that's my what's next. That's going to allow me to impact, inspire, and empower people. That's going to allow me to fulfill my purpose by adding value to those athletes that's coming along, that's in the same boat that I was in, that's in a different boat. But at the end of the day, all of them got this dream and this bigger purpose. And some of them realize that some of them don't. And that was the vision the Lord gave me and all the stuff I went through to give it back. So that's what we on right now. We on a massive movement, man, to impact, inspire, and empower people with the tools that the Lord done blessed me with, man.
Man, I love doing this. There's like the interview there because like going into it, I know like I had an idea of like your story. I thought, maybe another athlete, want to go D1, make it happen. But just the hearing how you found, like you said, you found a method in your mess, right? And then how you just found that mess and kind of figure out how can I make this benefit someone else other than myself.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's so powerful how you're going about this whole journey to say it's bigger than me. I want to give back to the game the way the game gave me something. So man, much respect to you and what you're doing.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. You hit it right on the head, man. You got to give the game, bro. The game give us so much, man. But we only think about what we get a game. We never think about what we took away from the game. The only thing we can think about, I put blood, sweat, and tears into this game. I put hours in on the court. I put hours in the film room. I put hours in the training room. I done broke bones for this game. That's all we think about. Look, we done gave the game, but how many times do we actually sit down and think about what the game gave us, man? The game gave us a stage. It gave us an opportunity. It gave us a name. It gave us an education. The game gave us a platform. The game gave us confidence. It gave us hope. The game gave us a way out. I mean, the game give you a lot if you sit down and think about it, but the game give you a blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Like, the game gave me a lot, and I just want to be able to share it because guys playing sports every day and giving everything they got to the game, but how many of them will actually think about what the game gave them when it's all said and done?
Not many, man. Not many.
So that's what we're on a mission to do, brother. That's what we're on a mission to do.
Hey, man. Well, I'm so glad you came on. So what are your links right now? Your social media, your website, we can get that plugged into right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, anybody can find me on LinkedIn, on IG, on YouTube at Derrick Furlow Jr. So that's DerrickFurlow Jr. That's Junior. They can go to the website, DerrickFurlow.com. And they also can go get their free copy of What's Next, How to Transition Like a Champion at sportslifebusiness.com. That's sportslifebusiness.com. So they can get those while supplies last.
Yo, man, keep crushing it. Like there's something. I think your next chapter is going to be bigger than all the rest of them.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate it. We on a mission, man. So I'm just going to empty the bucket and see what happens.
Definitely, my man. You got something good right here.
I appreciate that, bro, man. Thank you for the opportunity, man. Thanks for reaching out and allowing me to come on and share on the podcast, man. I'm definitely grateful for the opportunity, man.
Hey, man, appreciate you. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day out in Knoxville, you know, and enjoy the cold.
Right. Yeah, you enjoy the warmth. I enjoy the cold, bro.
Hey, man, we'll be in touch soon. Have a good one.
That'll work, bro. All right.
Yo, thanks for listening to this episode of the 9 Point Started With a Dream podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please comment, share, leave a review. We would love to hear your thoughts. You can find more athlete-driven content at 9point.com. Till the next episode, you're only one opportunity away. Peace.